Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Alhamdulillah, man. Inshallah ta'ala, everybody in the best state of iman and trying to stay focused and also getting in the mindset to start preparing for Ramadan. It's getting closer and closer, and remaining mindful that the shaitan is trying to do the most to make people miss the mark when Ramadan come. Alhamdulillah. So y'all know what it is. Another late night session. You know what I'm saying? Me and the brothers. We actually got 15, 16 brothers tonight. Alhamdulillah. 15 brothers and 2 sisters. Alhamdulillah. So we got 17 people. 15 brothers, 2 sisters. Alhamdulillah. So, yeah, look, one of the brothers had called me out and said, students of knowledge. Although I'm not a student of knowledge, you know what I'm saying? I'm just a student that's trying to seek some knowledge, okay? But they said, students, they always have some pens in their pockets, and I don't ever have none. So tonight, I got my pens in my pocket, man, like a student, you heard? So, to put the people on, and although in my comments some things were said about, things regarding Elijah Muhammad and different things. So wallahi, this was something we was going to already discuss before the comment about nationalism, and the focus isn't on Elijah Muhammad, but things will be discussed concerning not just him, but some of these things. So the reason why this was a discussion for a lot of you, if you never heard of, see, let me get into this before we get into it. So I'm the type of individual when the individuals who we study with, right? We got a small group, including the husbands, the wives, and a couple of teenagers. It's like 25, 26 of us, right? Not everybody is a student, but the majority of us, we students, as far as like we take real classes, homework, tests, exams, and then some of them is just family members and some of their homies who don't really study. So and we all we get together and do our thing. So what we've been studying, there's on YouTube, there's a channel, and I got it written down here. It's called Attic Books, right? So one thing about us, with us studying Islam, I've always been a studier of people, right? And I've always been a lay back in the cut and observe everything from the correct point of view. See, you can observe things through a bad lens. See, sometimes when your mind ain't right and you sitting back, laying back, viewing a situation, but your mind ain't right, so you viewing it through the way that you think, right? So you really not assessing the situation the way that it should be assessed. So by me studying people, and like I've said, I talk to a lot of Muslims, man. I'm actually friends with a lot of Muslims, okay? From different states, different countries. And this is a plus because you get to see a lot of different perspectives, the type of Islam people was brought up on, You know, um, so you really get to see an inside perspective of different things. So even when it comes to your YouTubes, there's a lot of people that I watch, even if they ashery, right? Not that I watch them to take from them. Me, because I'm a study of people, I like to see what they put out there. What's the information that they're putting out there? I watch people who Egyptologists, not just me, but me and other people. So one thing about the Deen of Islam, right? You have to be a defender of the Quran and Sunnah. Some people don't like this. Some people don't like this, man. And some people don't feel like things should be spoken out on. But to be honest, the reason why some of them have advanced to a different level is because somebody spoke to them and pointed something out to them. You understand? And when you study people and different aspects of things, one thing about our people, we love to say how strong and we is, right? But we're extremely sensitive, man. We are sensitive to the truth when it goes against us. Talk about everybody else, but don't talk about me. Don't tell me the truth to me when I want to believe this lie. When I want to live this lie, let me live it. Don't come telling me the truth. We're sensitive to that. Just like you have women, and I'm going to refer to our women. The term, we strong black women. And this isn't no knock to them. Because there's women of every single race. But we are the only race where our women say, hey, we strong black women. You don't hear we strong white women, we strong Mexican women, we strong Chinese women. There's no knock to this. But my point is, okay, they strong women, but if you ask them to be honest, they'll tell you they're also very sensitive. So by us feeling like we're strong people, right, we're also very sensitive to the truth. Don't stop us from living a lie. And this can make you an enemy. Because the truth is the enemy of a liar. You understand? So, with this, the studying of people and all the people that I listen to, I listen to everybody. I watch everybody, not to critique, not to take knowledge, but like I said, to see what information is being put out there. Because when you understand your position as a Muslim, you have to be a defender of the Quran and Sunnah. Okay? You have fundamental principles as far as when you see a wrong being done, when you see some evil, when you see some things that go against the Deen of Islam, you have to change it. You got to make some changes. Right? Physically change it, whatever that's going to look like, okay? You got to physically change it. Or like they say, change it with your hands. Whatever that's going to look like. Because it could look like different things. Sometimes, in the day of the Rasul, no. Sometimes, some bumping had to occur. You know? Inquiring minds had to find out that some people was about it. Okay? Inquiring minds had to find out that some people was really about it. Okay? Then if you can't do that, but like I said, that ain't always the only option. Inquiring minds ain't always got to find out the hard way. Okay? But physically changing it, whatever that's going to look like. And then if you can't do that, you change it how? By telling the truth about it. You got to change it by speaking out. telling people what it really is. You see what I'm saying? Putting people on, speaking truth to power. You know what I'm saying? Saying what gotta say. See, one thing when you get into the Quran and Sunnah, right? There's a aspect of, how do I want to word this? Right? Nah. So there's a hadith where it talk about, and it's from Quran too, right? So one of the things that destroyed the nations before us is when the rich did some things, or the powerful, they had government. So like people who was in power, governors and things like that, right? Kings, the king's homies, when they did things that violated the laws of, see, this is one thing, because this is going to play in it. So when we get into this, so I'm going to touch this aspect. The laws of Allah Azza wa Jal that he always sent down to people was the laws of the land. So then when other laws had to be put in place, they was in accordance with the laws that Allah set. For instance, certain things like when you driving, you got to use blinkers, although they didn't drive. I'm just saying, when other laws got put in place, those laws was also governed by the laws that Allah Azza wa Jal set. I'm mentioning that because now the laws that Allah Azza wa Jal set, the societies is not governed by them. Okay? The society is governed by laws that the government and things make, right? So when the people in power, the rich, the popular, the people that they love the most, when they committed crimes that went against the laws of Allah Azza wa Jal, they didn't punish them. But when the meek and the poor committed the same laws, they overpunished them. So this brought about a certain destruction from them. Why am I mentioning this? Because this comes to when it's time to speak out about certain things. See, with us, when one of our friends or one of our close companions or somebody else that we used to be cool with, when they do something, we don't say nothing about it. But when somebody we not cool with, or somebody that's a little bit weaker in the ranks, we'll go hard on them. See, this is the same thing. So sometimes changing with your mouth, sometimes the cool people or the people that's the ones in the crowd who rub elbows and they all know how corrupt each other is, but they not going to say nothing, but they'll gang up on somebody else. See, sometimes the individual had to come out and come at them. Right? 90% of this corruption is because of y'all. See, y'all sitting up talking about somebody who got fooled by y'all. You understand? So sometimes you have to speak out. Whatever that's going to look like. Change it with your tongue. However that's going to look. Whether it's Islamic dawah, whether it's calling out against bid'ah, whatever it's going to look like. You understand? Because sometimes inquiring minds going to have to find out. I don't care what was supposed to be this, that, and the third. I'll say something about it. I know that I'm supposed to. You understand? Then the next level is this. If none of that work, then you got to go to the weakest level of faith. And that is the what? Change it in your heart. You understand? Now you got to make personal decisions and say, you know what? I just can't be around this. I can't be around this. So this is a part of defending this Deen. this Quran and Sunnah. You have to know it in order to defend it. So studying all these different groups and all these different people that's enemies to the real dawah, it helps you know how to defend it. You understand? You'll be more adept at handling business, man. So you gotta know how to defend this deen, man. And unfortunately, man, due to the sensitivity that we starting to possess, defending this deen ain't our thing. Because we cool with this one, or we feel like they cool, or they might have access to something that we want. This on burn bridges. That ain't no bridge. Oh man, I don't want to sit up and say nothing about what they doing, because one day I might need them. But you're going to need Allah all the time. You see what I'm saying? That's that same thing that the generations that was destroyed before us fell into. They didn't handle business with the people they were supposed to handle business on, but they overhandle business with the weak. Just because somebody your homie, just because y'all cool, man, you got to say something. You got to do something. So, like I said, studying this stuff, it give us a real well-rounded perspective of what they putting out there. So there's this channel. It's called Addict Books. Beautiful channel. And I'm going to sit down and binge watch it this weekend. So what they do for like the individuals who not heavily into scholars, right? What they do is take the books, and they showing how the deen got corrupted, how it's affecting us right now in modern times. So they show, and it ain't for everybody. It for the people who not deep into the deen, as far as dissecting and figuring it out and looking at this, knowing how to defend it. It ain't for everybody. It's not entertaining. It's intellectual, it's deep, it's profound. So they go to like all these old scholars who started to come up with these vague perspectives of deen, right? The founders of the Mu'tazila. Now the people who make the channel, they're not biased. They're not for either side. So like, the first person who started the Asheris, they even got Ibn Taymiyyah, right? So what they do is, a lot of people don't know these, back then, a lot of these books that we study now, they was refutations of the other scholars from the other side that they was into it with. Like, a lot of people don't know that, a lot of the Salafis, they familiar with a book called Kitab Tawheed, right? But they don't know that the other side wrote a book called Kitab Tawheed first. So they had to come out with one to refute the falsehood that they had in it. So anyway, a lot of these deviant sects and these breakdowns in the deen, these passive views, they even got my man who started the Ikhwani Brotherhood, the Muslim Brotherhood, who right now, they're the same group that they're in control of ISNA, the Islamic Society of North America, who make all these calculations, who got, I won't speak on that, but they try to control moon sightings. They're in control of a lot of things. But a lot of people don't know the Muslim Brotherhood started ISNA. Alright? Anyway, so like the founder of the Islamic Brotherhood, they go to their books and then they show like the people who that they was into it. But the way they do it, they use AI, and then they take paragraphs from the books where they argue, but they argued in a book. It's kind of like for people who understand, like, who got caught up in the battle rap. So if you had two rappers arguing in a song, they'll play like this first paragraph, these first few bars of this rapper, and then they'll play his response. Then they'll play his response, then his response, and make it one song. So it's like that. So they take from his argument from his book, and then they'll take like Ibn Taymiyyah. And when you see their views, because a lot of us don't understand Arabic, can't read Arabic, or we don't have access to these books. So you can start to see where a lot of these degenerate ideas came that started plaguing Islam. Like how the very first person, Ghazali, like a lot of people love him. They refer to him as like the Sufi master. And you had to see how, you had to see how long ago it was when they was alive. And he was the one who kind of put out that Allah's in everything narrative. Allah's in the flowers. You know, he's a Sufi. You know what I'm saying? They called him the Sufi master. And they have him and Ibn Taymiyyah with their books where they was, you know, kind of going at each other. So my point is, especially with the brother who started the Muslim Brotherhood, y'all should check it out, Attic Books. And you could start to see where a lot of these narratives that got out there, and I hate to say this, a lot of the narratives that these particular groups started that was nonsense, somehow a lot of the narratives ended up, and I know how though, a lot of the narratives ended up in what they call it pseudo, however they say it, pseudo black Islam. Like dude from the Muslim Brotherhood. And I'm going to show y'all, and this is the deep part. A lot of them felt like Islam wasn't good enough. See, this Islam is good for religion, and Allah is the creator, but see, it's in our way. It's going to keep us desert people. You see what I'm saying? It's going to continue to keep us as buffoons. We need more. We got to build. We got to do this and that, as if Islam say we can't do it. But the ones who entered these ideas, they all had a problem with Islam. Y'all should check it out. And the ones who was like, no, Allah knows best. Allah says this in the Quran. Allah's messenger taught this, that, and the third. If we go against and step outside, this is what's going to start happening to the society. And they would be like, yeah, we understand what you're saying, but we need other education. Islamic education can't save us. We don't need to learn sciences of Islam. We need to learn sciences of math and medicine, because they wanted money. They wanted dunya. See, this was a time before all this stuff, before you can make $1 million a year being a doctor. These was the people who foreseen if we start to get in control of these industries, then we could make all this money and build all this wealth. But Islam is in the way of that. See, we want to be corrupt. Islam say we can't. So they started to change Islam. And one of them, what they were saying, like, no knock to them, but like you would hear from the Nation of Islam, the Moorish Americans, War of Deen, we need Islam for this modern times. Right? Not this, that's that old desert Islam. Just like, cause I want to get into this Quran and Hadiths to break it out about nationalism. But a lot of it, some of them, either they was on some nationalism or tribalism, however you want to word it, or secularism. And Islam got in the way of that. So they started to change Islam. So like I said, Ghazali was one of the people who, he was really trying to argue his point for how Allah is inside everything, and then try to put a spin on it like, oh, well, I'm not saying Allah is in everything, but how you could see Allah in everything. But they was warning like, this stuff you're doing is going to lead to bid'ah, like years down the line. You don't know how people are going to interpret this when you're gone. And they arguing. Attic books on YouTube. And some of them just like 20 minutes, some 15 minutes, some longer. So anyway, like we studying that and we look at it. And that's what was why we was coming to talk about nationalism and tribalism. Because like I said, some of them was all in the name of tribalism. Our group. Our people. And they put these point of views out there. And this modern Islam, we need modern Islam. Just like right now, like it cracked me up, man. I be feeling bad for brothers, man. Because like I say, I'm in Illinois, man. Y'all had to understand, this was Noble Drew Ali's stomping grounds. I'm not in Chicago. I'm on the outside of Chicago, right? But, when I used to be there, as a youth, and I ain't going to go into that. But this was Noble Drew Ali's stomping grounds. This was Elijah Muhammad's stomping grounds. And this was his son, Imam Ward Deen. This was their stomping grounds, man. So a lot of the pure, so like, I'm going to say this. People in Tennessee who heard about Elijah Muhammad but may have never met him, don't know about the corruption that was going on right here in Illinois like we do. People who all over in Alabama or in Philly, they may not know the same Imam Ward Deen that we know. You understand? And they family and they kids, and they brothers and sisters that you in Chicago, you could see them at restaurants and stuff. Whether they was pimping, whether they was hustling. See, they don't know the same, just like with Noble Drew Ali. They don't know the same Noble Drew Ali that we know. So, I have extremely different insight. But, let me get into these Quran ayats and then we're going to touch that. And to show how it's destroying the deen. Especially for us. You understand? And I'm going to say this before I read the Quran ayats. And I'm going to be honest about this. Because this is a perspective that I want people to understand. And wallahi, I came to this perspective watching Attic books, and then I listened to this brother in the UK giving a khutbah. He gave it last Friday, but I just watched it yesterday. I didn't go to work yesterday, man, because got a little injury or whatever. So I was sitting back yesterday watching these series. And the brother from the UK had he did a khutbah about how the Muslim drug dealer is the enemy of Islam or something like that. Some type of title, but it started off the Muslim drug dealer, the problems they cause, something like that. But he's in the UK. So when he was going through giving his khutbah, he started talking about Malcolm X. You know what I'm saying? El Hajj Malik Shabazz. And as he was talking about him and some of the things that he was saying, and then me watching the Attic books and then watch this, I said, man, we making the same mistake that they did. So I'm going to touch on that right now. So let's, and this grown man talking, it's going to sound difficult because I'm an African American. No, I'm saying, no. So, sometimes, like I said, when you watch the Attic books, anybody who watch it, you will see some of these individuals had a good name. The people looked up to them in society, right? But Islamically, they wasn't sound at all. Okay? Islamically, they wasn't sound at all. They didn't want to become sound Islamically, like these brothers who started the Muslim Brotherhood. They didn't want to become sound Islamically because Islamically it was going to keep them as desert people. But they had a call to dunya. We can get money. We could be independent. We can be the Egyptians down the line. They're going to run the world. You know what I'm saying? These type of things. A little bit of nationality, tribalism stuff. So because they had a different call to other than Islam, but they was Muslim, they was able to grab the ear of the people, but they couldn't teach Islam. So they started corrupting Islam because they had to change Islam to do what they wanted to do. Kind of like this term, like it cracked me up to hear people still talking about, I follow Al-Islam. See, that's that War of Deen stuff, man. Because y'all have to understand, they try to make like it was two different Islams. Like Al-Islam was that orthodox, right? Al-Islam, that let you know a person just didn't understand Arabic. Al-Islam as in the Islam. I follow the Islam. People don't even realize that's what they saying. Hey man, what's your religion? The Islam. But because they say Al-Islam, but they don't know. And see, like I say, I got a different ear than other them. I studied some of that stuff that was in their teachings. And I'm going to point out some of it. So when they say Al-Islam, they didn't understand that they was trying to make like, when you go and look at what they follow that's considered to be Al-Islam, this was Islam for modern times because they not traditional Islam. They not Orthodox Islam. So Al-Islam is the Islam for modern times that suits the black man. But see, y'all don't know that. Y'all just been taught that War of Deen rhetoric and all that penitentiary stuff. Y'all don't even know what that means when you're saying I follow Al-Islam. I follow the Islam. Just go look at, we're not looking at how they evolve. Just go look at what War of Deen taught personally. This modern day Islam, this Islam for the black man. That's what Al-Islam is. No matter what type of spin, no matter how they try to candy coat it, compare Al-Islam to what, but, oh man, that's just the traditional. What y'all doing is not traditional Islam. That's Islam for the black man. And that's what they used to say out of their mouth. How many non-black people you know that's part of the War of Deen community? We talking about years ago. So what I want to say is this. These was good men to a certain group, a demographic. But Islamically, they was not sound. And they was able to take people. Malcolm X, El-Hajj Malik Shabazz. A lot of people don't understand, man. El-Hajj Malik Shabazz took Shahada in like around May. Real Shahada in like May of 1964. He was murdered in like February of 1965. He wasn't even Muslim, as he would refer to himself as Sunni Muslim. He wasn't even Muslim for a whole year. He wasn't Muslim for a whole year. This isn't no knock to him, but this is what I want to say. When you go and look up any of his speeches, when people go to look at Malcolm X speeches and they start to quote him, they don't realize it because of the love they have for Malcolm X. They really quoting the Nation of Islam. They really quoting the Nation of Islam. They're quoting what he learned from the Nation of Islam. See, a lot of people don't know the Malcolm X that they love and feel like so powerful. That was the Nation of Islam Malcolm. Now, when he did step out and say, okay, I made Hajj, I done became real Muslim, Elijah Muhammad tricked us. He lied to us. Yeah, some of that is out there, but when it came to learning real Quran and Sunnah from Malcolm X, El Hajj Malik Shabazz, what can you say you got from him? What speeches, what talks, what Jumar Kutbar do you have from Malcolm X? Well, El Hajj Malik Shabazz. Do you have any Jumar Kutbars from him? Do you have any speeches about Ramadan, Tawheed, Aqidah, Sharia? This isn't a knock to him. So people still attached to Malcolm X with the name El Hajj Malik Shabazz, but Islamically, he wasn't even Muslim all year. And I haven't went and looked into it personally, but they said that some people over east sent a scholar with him. I seen the picture with the dude, but they say the person that he sent him with was a Sufi. I could look up his name. I could look and find out. But this is to say, Islamically, we can't get from them. But we attach them because we can't let it go. And the reason why I'm saying that, because they were speaking like he was an Islamic scholar. El Hajj Malik Shabazz was not no Islamic scholar. And this isn't no knock to him, and it's not trying to be funny. But right now, some people can't fathom in their mind, you might know way more than Malcolm X ever knew. That, and this isn't a knock on his name, but like I say, we elevating him up, man, due to nationalism. And then when we do quote him, we quote Nation of Islam. But we don't realize it. That stuff ain't Islam. Other than the one letter that he wrote when he made Hajj, and saying that he was sitting and drinking from the same cups as white Muslims and Arabs and all this other stuff, all the lies that Elijah Muhammad had told them, because they was thinking Islam was a black thing. But I'm saying, Islamically, Shahada, 5 pillars. What's out there that you could get from them? And this is the same thing with the people who started changing the Deen. Because they had nationality, because they had certain things attached to what they was calling people to, people liked them for that. But Islam, they couldn't get no Islam from them. To say, no knock to Imam War of Deen. I'm going to call him an Imam because he was the Imam of the War of Deen community. But Islamically, in the beginning, you got to understand, I'm in Illinois, Jack. I'm around some of the original masjids that he had started. They didn't even believe in something. Till this day, it's still some of them that still don't believe you're supposed to pray 5 times a day. That's our Islam. And our Islam, you don't pray 5 times a day. They didn't even believe, just like how I had the beliefs of the Jahmiyyah up there. There's no such thing as praying 5 times a day in no masjid. There's no such thing as Jumu'ah service. There's no such thing as an Eid prayer. The Jahmiyyah, they had the exact same beliefs. Okay? And I'm talking about in the 80s and 90s. Alright? I'm talking about almost up to 2000. It wasn't until some foreigners came and threw some money around and established Jumu'ah in there. They were just having Taleems on Sundays, where they was teaching that same stuff what we talking about in the group thing. That drawing a 5-point star for the people who don't know. And I'm going to get to it, I promise, man. I'm going to show y'all what it means. So you draw your 5-point star like this. And then you put an A for arm, an L for leg, an L for leg, another A for arm, and then an H for head. What do you have? This spells Allah. Arm, leg, leg, arm, head. So to the point where they say that if I do this, I look like a 5-point star. So that make us like Allah. This is the type of stuff they was teaching in Talim and teaching Adam alayhi salam. Adam alayhi salam wasn't a real person. Adam alayhi salam wasn't real. That Adam just symbolizes man. And Eve, she wasn't real either. She just symbolizes woman. So now, what y'all doing is calling Allah Azza wa Jal a liar. This was what they was teaching, man. I can go on and on. That the Quran is written for every race. Black people supposed to get an interpretation from it. White people get a different interpretation. Arabs get a different interpretation. That's Al-Islam, baby. You know what that is? That's Al-Islam. So for all these individuals out here talking about they follow Al-Islam and they was guided to Al-Islam, this is Al-Islam, baby. And anybody who was old enough and was around, they can't deny that this was the teachings, man. They can't deny it. This stuff is not Islam. Just like when it comes to Elijah Muhammad now. See, they can't fool me because I know the teachings. I studied it as a 5%. Like in your student enrollments. I understand when he used to say he was a true and living messenger. You couldn't get nothing from Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam because he was dead. You need a true and living prophet and messenger. So when people make them type of comments, hell, like my man said, and this isn't to bash him, this isn't to make fun of him, but like he said in my comments, hell, Prophet Muhammad was dead. They had a true and living messenger. See, I'm from out here. I know all that. And before I get to the Quran ayats and wrap it up, I'm gonna read y'all something. That stuff is shirk, man. This Allah around a 5-point star, arm, leg, arm, head stuff. This Adam wasn't a real person. He only symbolizes man. He's a symbol of man. See, you don't know, coming up with terms talking about Al-Islam, the Islam. For the black man, the modern terms. You done created a whole nother religion, baby. That's bid'ah. The Quran is to be into, just like sitting up saying the story about, and see, a lot of people don't know this. Your older version of Yusuf Ali translations in the footnotes, he said that the story about Ibrahim when he cut up the birds or whatever, in the footnotes, Yusuf Ali said that stuff wasn't true. In the footnotes, Yusuf Ali had a lot of foolishness. So in the English, he kind of changed it. Guess who else said the same thing? Imam Wharf Deen. He even had a whole thing talking about the birds cut up in the forest. One of them meant like economics and some other stuff. But see, these stuff they got from them Yusuf Ali translations, from the footnotes. You understand? And I could prove this. Alright? That's Al-Islam. We don't follow no Al-Islam, man. Now, let's go to the student enrollment for the people who've been in the Nation of Islam before. Student enrollment 1 through 10. And see, I learned all this as a 5%er. I didn't believe none of it. Student enrollment, number one, right? Who is the original man? That sound familiar? This student enrollment 1 through 10. I still got lost and found Muslim lessons 1 and 2, supreme wisdom. I know all that stuff. So people can't fool me with that. This is what Elijah was teaching, and for Father Muhammad, the one who wrote a lot of it. 1. Who is the original man? The original man is the Asiatic black man. The maker. The maker of what? The owner. The owner of what? See, we know that these is names of Allah Azza wa Jal when they put in the maker, but they referring to as the creator. The owner. Allah Azza wa Jal is the owner of the heavens and the earth and everything in it. But they saying the Asiatic black man is the creator, the owner, and the cream of the planet Earth. So the Asiatic black man, the maker and the owner, the creator and the owner and the cream of the planet Earth, that's shirk. The father of civilization and God of the universe. That's why they talk, man, the black man is God. That's what Elijah Muhammad taught. So all these people sitting around talking about, oh, if it wasn't for them, I would have never heard of Muhammad. Man, that man disrespected Muhammad. They would say that. See, a lot of people don't know some of the aspect. Why did they even name it the Nation of Islam when they wasn't even know? They reading the Bible and this and that. So that they can get that money, that $5 million from them over there in Saudi Arabia. Same thing as Noble Drew Ali did. You could get a whole different set of a 501c. Just like if you go look at some of them old books by the Nation of Islam, you'll see Nation of Islam.inc. It was incorporated. It was a business. That's shirk. That's shirk. That's shirk. The man taught shirk, man. The man taught shirk. Far Muhammad, God in person, and wallahi, I remember when Imam Shabazz, who was a member of the Nation of Islam, they actually cut his fingers off. You know what I'm saying? Because of some money he messed up. Then, when Elijah died and he came to War of Deen community, he was sent here to open up a temple. We right outside of Chicago. So some of the older people who was around, that, you know, they used to do security and stuff for Elijah and everything. I said it, wallahi, when Imam Shabazz passed away and we was doing his janazah at the masjid, and I watched him sit up in a chair, and they started talking about how Elijah Muhammad talking about it wasn't going to be no more after him and the mothership, and they were sitting up like, man, I can't believe we believe that stuff. That man knew he was lying when he said it. So, but some people can't let that go, man. You know what I'm saying? And no knock to them, no knock to other people's beliefs. But for me personally, I know, to be honest with you, it's more people that can't find real Islam because of them than people that so-called came to Islam because they feel like they introduced them to it. They ain't introduce y'all to no Islam. They introduce y'all to Islamic terminology like Muslim, Islam, Mecca, Medina. They ain't introduce. If they introduce y'all to real Islam, they would be on it right now. But see, y'all don't know what they taught. And I'm only reading one thing from student enrollment because I'm not gonna make it about that. And look, man, I'm seeing this right here. Wallahi, I just noticed this on my board. I don't even want it on here. I'm sitting up here, man, feeling like Allah might do something to me, man, because I got this foolishness on my board. Wallahi, man, I don't even want that crap on here. That's what our Islam is, photo. So, but you know, some people, I know the reality, man. They wasn't teaching, man, the Nation of Islam wasn't teaching no Islam, man. They wasn't having Jumar. They wasn't praying 5 times a day. They wasn't doing none of that. You know what I'm saying? We talking about during the days of Elijah Muhammad. When he was alive, they was still having, when you went up in their mosque, man, it was just like going to a church. They just had all the women sitting on one side and the men sitting on the other. Now, did they do something that was good for black people in America? Cleaning them up in that day of time. Yeah, I can give them credit for that. So did the black church. But I'm going to say this, and this is where people have to admit that it's nationalism and they can't let go of it. If a white man came and said everything that Elijah Muhammad said and was calling himself Muslim, saying this is a whole nation of Islam. Matter of fact, I got to give y'all one more out of there. I got to give y'all one more up out of there. Because it's funny. What is the birth record of the Nation of Islam? The answer is the Nation of Islam has no birth record. It has no beginning nor no end. It is older than the sun, moons, and stars. What y'all saying? The Nation of Islam is Allah? The Nation of Islam is Allah. That's what Elijah Muhammad taught. That's what they still teach. That's still part of student enrollment right now in 2024. When you come through your Lost and Found Muslim lessons 1 and 2, they still got stuff in there about how long did it take Moses to civilize the devil. My whole thing is, where did this come from? Y'all saying Allah Azza wa Jal revealed this to him? Did Allah Azza wa Jal sent him Shirk to teach people? Where did this come from? It's more people that can't step foot into the real Deen because of them. They might take their Shahada, but when it comes to real Islam, they can't get a stronghold on it because they got too much of this goofiness in them. In Illinois, they might come to the masjid, they might come to Jumar, Shalom Alaikum, woo out the woo, but then when you sit down and talk to them, I mean, I practice Al-Islam. What? What? And then they get mad at you if you say something. Because they don't know the origins. They don't understand how it was taught back then. And then certain people will jump up and try to defend it. And that's why we're going to talk about these hadiths. And I'm going to be quick. But like I wanted to finish this point. If a white man came out and named himself Elijah Muhammad and said everything that Elijah Muhammad said, but instead of for black people, he said it was for white people, we'd say he was crazy. We'd say he was racist. But we fallen into the same thing that them other people fell into, trying to hold on to some type of black figure that can't even give you a pinch of Islam outside of terminology. And that's why right now, and this is a point, and people don't like when you say it, right now a lot of us African Americans can't give you no real Islam outside of terminology. That's a fact. That's a fact. We can't give you no real Deen outside of terminology. You know what I'm saying? You can't. Oh yeah, man, follow Quran and Sunnah. Oh yeah. Bust down this ayat for me. How do you live this ayat out since you live Quran and Sunnah? They won't know. How do you put these hadiths into practice? They won't know. How do you live Aqidah out in your everyday life? They can't answer it. But they'll Aqidah you to death. Aqidah. Minhaj. Looking for that new black Islam. because at one point, I ain't gonna go into that, but let me read these Quran ayats, right? So, right here, Surah 49, Hujurat. When it comes to ayat number 13 is what we want. This is beautiful, beautiful, especially ayat number 14. So number 13, O mankind, Allah has created you from a male and a female, right? Which that male was Adam, that female was Hua. Quran al-Kareem say they was real people. Nation of Islam, War of Deen say they wasn't. Right? But this isn't the point of that. Right? Let's continue. Allah has created you from a male and a female and made you into races and tribes. So all your races, all your tribes came from these two people. Right? But listen to this. But Allah says that He did that so that you may know one another and not fight one another. Now, this is one of the big excuses, man, that I hear from the African Americans. Oh, well, the Pakistanis do it. That don't make them right. Oh, well, the Arabs do the same thing. That don't make them right. They just as wrong as y'all is. And see, what people have to understand is you got to grow to the point. This is what I had to do. Because, see, I walked through all of that trying to be a black Muslim. I stopped trying to be a black Muslim and became a black Muslim. I.e., a Muslim that just happened to be black. Right? And I got a lot further. Because I'm going to tell you something. I'm not going to attach something. I'm not going to sit around and cling to something just because a black person said it. Malcolm X, El-Hajj Malik Shabazz, may Allah accept him as a martyr. Great man. But we didn't get a chance to learn any real Islam from him. That's just the reality. I'm not going to refer to him as a scholar of Islam because he wasn't. A scholar of the Nation of Islam, strong possibility. When it came to the Nation of Islam, boy, he was sharp. But unless somebody can come across some kutbars, some different teachings and other things that I'm not familiar with from them, unless somebody can come with some crew, and like I say, wallahi, this isn't to knock him. But if Malcolm X wasn't black and considered to be one of our heroes, we wouldn't hold him to the same accord. Because Islamically, when it comes to being able to be taught real Islam, there's people out there he couldn't hold a candle to. But we don't want to hear that. We don't honor them the same way. You understand? Like I said, this ain't no bash to them. All these things we hold on to. But let me finish. Let me finish, man. So, this is so that we all will know each other, not so that we'll fight against each other. Y'all do it, we do it, we're better, y'all better. Islam belong to us. See, we want a black Islam. Islam belong to us. Arab, Islam belong to us. Islam belong to us. Nah, man. We all came from two people. Allah put us in races and tribes so that we'll know one another, right? And not fight one another. But look at the beauty of it, what he says. Indeed, the most noble, the most pious, the most righteous of you in the sight of Allah are the ones who have taqwa, the ones who are most mindful of Allah and do the most righteous deeds that's among us. So your color, your race, your tribe, none of that matters. It's all about what matters in the sight of Allah. You see what I'm saying? It's about what matters in the sight of Allah. And Allah says, and indeed Allah is all knowing and all aware. Now peep out what it says. The nomadic Arabs said, these was the Bedouins. It's the next ayat. The Bedouins said, we are mu'min. We have attained iman. We actually earned it. We put the work in to get the iman. We attained it. This is what they said to the Rasul. Allah told Rasul, no, tell them, you have not attained faith. Y'all are not mu'mins. You're not believers. Rather tell them, y'all have just become Muslims. Quran al-Kareem. Y'all have only become Muslims. But they felt like they was the cream of the crop. Bedouins. When people know about the Bedouins, man, and the ignorance that they carry, this make a lot of sense. But check it out, though. Y'all have not attained faith. Y'all not mu'min. Y'all have only become Muslims because iman, faith, has not yet entered into your hearts. But if you obey Allah and His messenger, how do you obey His messenger? Not obey these other people. Not obey that. And see, this is something that I want to say to people, man. Allah is all knowing. Allah knows everything. If it was somebody that was supposed to be obeyed over the messenger of Allah, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they'd be in the Quran al-Kareem. Noble Drew Ali ain't in it. Far Muhammad ain't in it. Elijah Muhammad ain't in it. And whoever y'all favorite person from India, Pakistani, Saudi Arabia, Africa, they not in it either. They not in it either. You think Allah Azza wa Jal didn't have a clue that these people was going to come about with their foolishness? See, that's how they say in the world. That's like a smack in the face. But let's continue. Iman hasn't entered your heart yet, but if you obey Allah and His messenger, then Allah will not diminish any of your good deeds. But you got to do that. Don't you know, not obeying Allah and His messenger, then Allah can choose to diminish your good deeds? Indeed, Allah is all forgiving, bestower of mercy. The believers are those who have attained taqwa in Allah and in His messenger. Not these other people. Whether Rasul Allah has transitioned to this day. Do that mean I can't get nothing from him? That's disrespectful, man. But look, and then it says, the believers are those who have attained faith in Allah and His messenger, and then have not doubted. There's no doubt about it. He can't be replaced by no one, period. Right? So, and then have no doubt and have striven with their wealth and their lives in the way of Allah. And those are the ones who are truthful. That's what a believer is in the sight of Allah Azza wa Jal. Who's striving for the cause of Allah with their wealth? Who doing it? Who doing it? Who of us really out here can study the lives, can understand the life of Rasul Allah, can really talk about it intelligently? But we claim we're on the life of the Quran and Sunnah, but we could talk about all these other figures. Who can do it? Who can do it? Let's continue. Right? Say, are you going to tell Allah about your religion? because they didn't agree with it. No, man, we the best. We telling you what we is. No, Allah said y'all ain't did nothing but become Muslims. You just accepted Islam. That's it. Right? So Allah says, you gonna tell me about your religion? You know better about this than me? When Allah knows whatever is in the heavens and whatever is in the earth, for Allah is all knowing of everything, they keep reminding you, they keep reminding the Prophet of the favor that they did by becoming Muslims. See, they became Muslim feeling like they was owed something. And that's how a lot of us feel. And when we don't get it, we leave Islam, we put Islam on the back burner, we change Islam, we make up other stuff. Oh, Islam ain't gonna do nothing but make us dumb desert people. We're just gonna be dumb desert Bedouins our whole life if we just keep following that Islam. We need to get out here and get some of this secular education. Not saying we shouldn't, but Islam don't go on the back burner. Islam don't go on the back burner. You know what I'm saying? So Allah had to check them. Tell them, do not consider your submission, you taking your shahada, as a favor to me. It is Allah who does you a favor by guiding you to the deen. What? Allah don't owe you, you owe Allah. So the point is, nationalism, tribalism, it's a no-no in this deen. Allah Azza wa Jal made it clear. He created us from two people and races and tribes so that we may get to know each other and not fight against each other or sit around and try to act like change the Islam to suit our race and our nationality, whatever it is. Black, Somalian, Nigerian, Indian, Pakistani, Bangladeshi, Jordanian, Syrian, Egyptian. Islam belongs to Allah Azza wa Jal. So, like I said, if a white man came out and said the exact same thing that Elijah Muhammad was saying, we would reject it. If a Mexican came out and said the exact same thing that Elijah Muhammad was saying, we would say he was crazy. If a Japanese man came and said it, even with, and I'm not knocking Imam Ward Deen, and his community is starting to grow, but if somebody else did the exact same thing that Imam Ward Deen was doing that was not black, we will reject it. We will reject it. See, one thing about Islam, we got to hold on to Islam for the truth that it is, Quran and Sunnah. I'm not finna partake in a whole bunch of batil, man, that I know that's not facts just because a black person said it and because I think he cool and he doing something. I feel like he doing something for the black race. You know what I'm saying? And see, this is the same thing what happened with the gang culture. You have Jeff Fort. Jeff Fort, the king of the Stones and the El Rookins, laid his lick down. All the Stones supposed to be Sunni Muslims. But can they get some Islam from him? They can be like, yeah, you know, but because he's Chief Malik, he's Imam Malik, and this and that, he had this rep on the streets. We tied to who we seen him as on the streets in Islam. It's not the same. He not no Islamic imam because he ran the streets. You see what I'm saying? We falling into the wrong things, man. I ain't finna hold on to nobody tooth and nail and falsehood, man, just because we the same race. And then they feel some type of way because I listen to somebody else that's Quran and Sunnah for real, and they might just happen to be Egyptian. They might just happen to be Mauritanian. They might happen to be Sudanese. They might have to be from Saudi. They might happen to be from Saudi or India or Pakistan. They might be from Asia. I don't need black Islam. I just need to be Muslim that's black, B. And I can recognize it. You understand? And like I say, when you look at attic books and look at them debates and see this is what the people fell into. It was people that had a good name. They felt like they was doing something, moving their race forward. But Islamically, doodle buns. Doodle buns. You couldn't get no Deen from them. And that's why I sit down and say, as long as I've been Muslim, man, when it comes to us, a lot of what you get from us is just terms. Quran, Sunnah, I'm on my Deen. You know what I'm saying? But let's get into the tribalism. And then I'm done, Shay. I'm done. We getting it in. Before the 120. So in tribalism, now let's attach the hadith, man. Let me give y'all the hadith. Hold on, this ain't the one I want to start with. This ain't the one I want to start with. It is. Yeah, it is. I know which one I want. Right here. Check this out. Now, Quran ayat about why we in different races, why we in different tribes. Nationalism and tribalism. It's a no-no. Right? You can have love for your people. We're not saying that. But let's get a hadith to go with it, so it'll make more sense. So it was narrated from Abu Hurairah that the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, yeah, we in there, you know, we right on that mark. We still got a few minutes. That just means time for Qiyam al-Layl. So we wrapping it up. So it was narrated from Abu Hurairah that the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, whoever fights under a banner of folly, foolishness, things that make no sense, they have no place in Islam. Whoever fights under that banner and they're supporting tribalism, nationalism, this is about my race, or getting angry for the sake of tribalism. Just like right now, I know some individuals that's going to get mad at me because they thinking I'm saying something about Malcolm X when I'm really not. I'm not saying nothing bad about Malcolm X, but he's a black hero. Okay? Or he's saying something about Elijah. He Arabized or what? I've been Arabized. I'm sitting up in here with a great thobe and kufi on like an Arab. I don't understand my nationality. They don't get mad at me. Right? But like I say, getting angry for the sake of tribalism, then these particular individuals, they die in a state of ignorance. Kufar. If they die in Jahil, that means they living in Jahil. Which means what? They ignorant of their religion. They ignorant of Quran and Sunnah. Now, I'm not specifically calling no one person out. This is Allah and His messenger, not me. And I'm saying this to say, this is why I grew out of it. Cause see now, our tribes is, for the ex-gang members, whatever gang we was in, that was our tribe. But black is our race. You understand? I don't have no place in it. I don't need black Islam. I just need to be a black Muslim. As in, a Muslim who happens to be black. You understand? I can't change that. As long as the hawk is with the individual, I got teachers that's African American. I got teachers that's African. I got a teacher that's as cold as a whole bunch of people come, and he's white. I even brought a couple of people into one of the classes to be like, when y'all see him, y'all gonna laugh. I wanted them to see him. It's a white dude, hawk, thorough. And it's just a basic little preparing you to learn class. Cold as they come, boy. And as a matter of fact, as far as a lot of the African Americans, I don't care how they feel. When it comes to degrees, it's only one person that's right there with them. Boy like that. And he a white guy. I listen to him. I respect him. In fact, I sit in his class to learn from his mannerism. These is classes that I passed from him without him even teaching me. Him just giving me the class material. And him grading my homework and my exams. In like 2019, 2020. I actually sit in the classes to learn from his mannerism. Sometimes I break etiquette. Ask questions when he ain't supposed to. Be a poor student. To see how he handle me. And then so I can show the other students that's in there with me. You see how he dealt with that? That's scholarship. That's scholarship. You understand? And he a white guy. And I love the brother. And I'm gonna look at him, man, this white dude, man, he probably can't stand my skin. You know? That's my people. You know what I'm saying? I love the brother. I donate to it. Wallahi, I donate to the causes that he come up with and everything. Not for nothing or not for a bragging point. Wallahi, I just donated to him a few days ago. Some zakat. I gave some zakat money to one of the programs that he got going. That's my man. And I invited them in because his class, these classes that he doing right now is for free. This man taking his time out for free to sit and do a good hour class, 45-minute class, and not even making people do the homework. He'll read it to them. Like he do have a little slight homework because it's introductory, but he'll go through the questions like the quizzes, and then like we'll have a little homework. Might have to find some things because it's an Aikido class, but it's focusing on Tawheed right now. And he a white guy, my man's. I love him. When I make Tahajjud tonight with Qiyam Leo, I make dua for him. Him and a whole bunch of people. Him, his family. That they reach Jannah and everything. And he a white guy. Okay? So as it continues, the Taqreed says, whoever fights under a banner of folly means supporting a group without making sure whether it's on the truth or not. In this case, even if the group is on the truth, he did not intend to support the truth. Rather, his intentions was to support his clan, tribe, nation, party, or organization. Which means what? He's on some Hizbiyah. I'm rocking out with it right or wrong. You know what I'm saying? And it be wild because you have people that's on Hizbiyah calling other things Hizbiyah. Oh man, that's a Hizb. You understand? So like I said, even if they just doing it They ain't even checked to see, hey man, if we out here rocking out on these people for some truth, did they investigate and see what they even riding for? No, this my mans and them. And like I said, this is what certain things was, the generations before us, they was destroyed because of this type of stuff. You ain't gonna say nothing to him because that's your homie? And you know he in the wrong? Oh man, I just want to keep the peace. I don't want to cause no confusion amongst the Muslim brothers. What? You just gonna sit here and let these people be up on a whole bunch of bid'ah? As a matter of fact, encourage it and taught it to them when you knew it was wrong though? Oh, I just want to make friends, man. I want us all kumbaya. Man, get out the way. Get out of the way. I tell them. I tell them. You know what I'm saying? I say something. What else to say? Therefore, it is not participating in things which is rewardable. There's no reward for this hizb, nor the kind of dying which is considered to be a martyr. So if a person even die upon it, if they even harmed upon it, they ain't rewarded as no martyr. The only thing they gonna reward is, man, they gonna die the death of a jahil. They gonna live ignorant and gonna die ignorant. This is Allah and His messenger. This is Allah and His messenger. Man, that nationalism, that trash, you know what I'm saying? And like I say, people just rocking out with it because it's their version of Black Islam. On needed that. And like I say, I'm not just, and it's whoever who does it. But see, I can only speak on specifically what I'm aware of. I know I done read that stuff. I know what's in them teachings. I know what was taught behind closed doors. I don't care about the terminology that was used. I even know the wordplay. The reason why we call ourselves Muslims, because a Muslim is one who submits to the will of Allah. So that's why we call ourselves Muslims. I understand why they even try to label themselves as a messenger. See, Allah says that He sent a messenger to every group of people, every race of people. And we was the ones sent with them. And the reason why we use the term messenger and not prophet, because this is a new message. Oh, this is a new message? What's the new message? That the black man is the creator and the owner of the planet Earth, and he's the God of the universe? What? What? Where the book at that this was revealed to you in? Huh? Where's the book? Where's the book? What? How, what's the birth date of the Nation of Islam? That there is no, it's the beginning and it's the end. What? And I'm supposed to rock out with that because you black? And taught the people to still dress up in their Sunday's best and move in accordance with the mafia? Yeah. Man, let me hit this. Let me hit one more, man. Then we gonna go on ahead and pray, man. Look at this one right here. Beautiful. Because there's the Quran ayat about the people who gonna put off like they the movement, like they the best thing since sliced bread when it comes to Islam. Well, Allah had to tell the Rasul, no, you let them know they not that. They ain't did nothing but accept Islam as the truth. That's all they've done. And they feel like by them doing that, they owed a favor by you. You ain't helping them out. They helping you out by becoming Muslim because they give strength to the Ummah. You know what I'm saying? You owe them. They did you a favor by becoming Muslim. Foolishness be. So, let's look at some of the descriptions of some of the people that's going to come, and we're going to close on this hadith. It was narrated by Abu Sa'id al-Khudri. I heard Allah's Messenger, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, saying, there will appear some people among you whose salat will make you look down on your own salat. Right? That's how beautiful they gonna be in salat. You gonna look at them and be like, man, I need to pray like them. Whether it's in posture, whether it's how much praying they doing. You know what I'm saying? Sunnah prayers, 20 rakats tarweeh, to the point where you be like, man, I need to pray more, or man, I need to straighten myself up. So this means there's going to be Muslims that's going to appear like that. Right? And when they're fasting, they will make you look down on your own fasting. Man, I need to fast as much as them. They fasting long hours during Ramadan, barely even ate. Appearing to be extremely pious, right? Prayer good, fasting good, to the point you look at yourself, right? And their deeds will make you look down on your own. You'll think they doing good deeds. Because this is surface. This is surface. Right? And then it says, and they will recite the Quran, which none of it will exceed their throat. None of it. It ain't going to be in their heart. It ain't going to be on their mind. They can't live in accordance with it. They can't act up on it. They can't even give you a ruling on how you can live in accordance with the Quran. But you know what's going to be on their mouth? I'm on Quran and Sunnah. We've been warned about this. It's Quran ayats about these type of people being around the Rasul. You understand? But look what it say. And they will go out of Islam. They'll discard Islam. They'll change Islam. They'll come up with some bid'ah. They'll come up with some batil. They will make Islam fit their narrative. Huh? Like, perhaps teach the people some al-Islam. Huh? These different little rhetorics. A black version, a Pakistani version, an Asian version. Right? But look what it says. They will go out of Islam. They're going to lead the foes of Islam as an arrow goes through the game, whereupon the archer will examine the arrow but see nothing. That's how fast they go. This quick. Just like with me, as it's saying the game, and I've explained this hadith before in different videos. If somebody shoot me with a bow and arrow, and the arrow go all the way through my body so quick that if I pick it up, it ain't no skin, it ain't a drop of blood. The arrow look just as clean as it did when it was shot. That's how quick they go out of the fold of Islam. You might be next to them. You might be learning from them. But how people gonna know the difference? See, this is where Tadabbur will come in. We ain't even gonna leave it as a homework question, because you know we gonna build tomorrow anyway. But for the people, how you gonna know the difference? Because they not going to be able to put the Quran into practice. Might be you. Because they not going to be, the Quran ain't going to go past their throat. Beautiful recitation, possibly even an ugly recitation. But they're going to be able to recite. We'll have a conversation with them about the Quran and see if they can talk to you about the Quran intelligently. Not intelligently to you because you don't know nothing, but intelligently to somebody who studies the Quran academically. That's how you're going to be able to tell the difference. They sound good, but their whole life totally contradictory. So you got to know these things. How you going to be able to tell the difference? They not going to love the truth, but they'll love and defend falsehood. They'll let falsehood breed. But don't say nothing. Don't speak on nothing. Just like with me. People don't like me speaking around here. It's always this, man. And I promise I'm finna close right now. Because we talking about a narcissist. See, this is the thing about people when they be narcissists and they label people. It will be people who trying to correct you about what you doing. And then you be like, okay, alhamdulillah, you open for the correction. But then you say, okay, let's just go look at the Quran and Sunnah. And then when you go look at the Quran and Sunnah, they be the ones that turn out to be wrong. Now all of a sudden you think you know more than everybody. You thought you knew more when you was trying to correct them. Or man, you always want to correct somebody. No, this conversation is because you tried to correct them. See, everything that you did, you put it on the other person. When they was innocent and you was malicious. That's what you're starting to have a lot of. But people will defend that. Oh man, everybody got mistakes, this and that. Mistakes and malicious is two different things. This is the stuff that make the Deen fall apart. This is the things that make the Deen fall apart. But, alhamdulillah, man, it's that time for us to get into the prayers. Like, man, like they telling me to give them some homework. You know what? I'll tell you what. Because, sorry YouTube for this video being too long. I'll give y'all some. Let me go back to something real quick. I got something for y'all right now. Check this out. Let's see. Right around some of the same hadiths that I was just reading. I got one. Beautiful hadith too. Okay. So, hadith, right? Let me read this right here. It was narrated that Mu'adh bin Jabal said, the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam prayed one day, and he made the prayer lengthy. When he finished, we said, O Messenger of Allah, you made the prayer lengthy today. He said, I offered a prayer of hope and fear. I asked Allah for three things for my nation. So the Rasul, in this long prayer, he asked Allah for three things, right? For this ummah. And three things, I asked Allah for three things for my ummah. And he granted me two and refused me one. I asked him not to let my nation be destroyed by the enemies. Right? From without. I like how they use the word without because that's showing that there could possibly be some enemies from within. Right? And Allah granted him that. So what that's letting us know, even though the Muslims is being tormented and going through all type of stuff worldwide, and may Allah make it easy for them. I understand that it's Allah's qadr, and allow my heart to deal with his qadr, with the situations that's going on with the people worldwide with these wars. But it's letting us know the Muslim Ummah isn't going to get destroyed by the enemies of Islam. Not from the enemies that's without. Allah granted them that. So we have to know we're going to see something better. But perhaps this might be internal. We don't know it. But look what it say though. And I asked him not to let this ummah be destroyed by drowning or plagues, sicknesses, right? These type of things. And Allah granted him that. And I asked Allah not to let this ummah be destroyed by fighting from amongst ourselves. And Allah refused it. So what do that tell us? This ummah is going to be destroyed because the Muslims keep fighting each other. And guess what we fighting each other over? Nationalism, tribalism. Non-Islamic Muslims with a beautiful worldview for their particular race of people. But their Islamic view is doodle buns. And they turning people against the Muslims who still had a Islamic view. Huh? These things is going to destroy the ummah. Because you have a lot of great men that was Muslim, but Islamically, they couldn't teach you the haqq. Either they didn't live long enough to get it, their message didn't spread worldwide, whatever the reason. But you had good Muslims for other things other than Islam, okay? But people want to avoid the Muslims that can give you the deen, man. So the question is, how do we protect ourselves? That's the homework. How we protect ourselves from falling into it. In detail. Alright, man. Wasn't long enough, man. I apologize. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.